This could be really bad news for the gig economy. A recent CNBC article shows that private payrolls came in at 152,000 for the month of May. This is significantly below the estimates of 175,000. Here's why this is important to the gig economy. The gig economy is all about saturation. When there's too many drivers out there willing to do deliveries, willing to pick up passengers, that means that these companies can lower the fare rates, which they've already been doing a ton in the past. And when private companies slow their hiring, that means people who would normally pick up a normal 9-to-5 desk job start looking for other forms of employment, like delivering with DoorDash, UberEats, Grubhub, or driving for Lyft or Uber. So is this the start of a new trend? Are we somewhere in the middle of this trend? How long exactly can we expect it to last for? Well, this definitely isn't the start of the trend. Even though it's been a tight labor market, people have still been flooding to the gig economy because even though they're fully employed, they may have that one 9-to-5 job, they still don't have enough money to make ends meet. So they pick up other jobs like delivering, food delivery with DoorDash, Uber Eats, any of these services, so that they can help pay for their basic essentials. And that's because inflation has been so hot over the past few years that basic needs like food and shelter, your rent, your groceries, are way more expensive than they used to be. So we've seen this saturation already start to happen. We also saw gas prices go up, prices of used cars go up, and the price for the food that people are buying go up. And none of these factors have been good for the gig economy. They've made it really hard to make a living out there for people doing this full time, and really hard for people to supplement their incomes, even for those doing it just part-time. So we're definitely somewhere in the middle of this trend, and I think it's going to go on for some time. That's because the Fed's going to wait for a few months of data like this, where you start to see job openings decrease, maybe inflation decrease a little bit more before they actually cut rates. And it's only when they actually cut those rates significantly that job openings are going to start to pop back up. People are going to leave the gig economy, go back to that 9-to-5, and you're going to see less saturation in the market. You're going to see more customers out there ordering from these services because they have more money in their wallets. But fortunately, it's not all bad news out there. There have been some small nuggets of good news, like gas prices going down a little bit lately. That's because OPEC is increasing their supply. That was a huge surprise to the markets. Also, food prices look to be going down just a little bit at some grocery stores. Places like Target have said that customers are getting more sticker conscious. That means people have less money to spend, so they're not shopping as much at these stores. They have to bring their prices down. Now, that doesn't directly affect the gig economy, but it does affect people working in the gig economy because everyone out here struggles the same when prices go up for things like groceries and gas. So it's nice to see those things go down a little bit. And gas is definitely a major input price when it comes to the gig economy. So what exactly can we do about that? Well, hopefully you have a bit of a nest egg. You've set aside money because it's possible that things, do get a little bit worse. If unemployment gets significantly higher, that means much less people will be using these delivery service, these rideshare services, because they're going to be cutting out costs that are discretionary like this in order to save money. Maybe they're worried about their job security or they lost a job. They're just not going to be spending as much. And for those of you that have followed this channel, you know that I haven't really posted much lately. That's because I haven't been working in the gig economy and I'm no longer really an entrepreneur. About 2 years ago, I shared a video about why I actually decided to get a full-time job. That's when the labor market was quite a bit tighter. There weren't enough employees out there to fill positions, and personally, I saw an opportunity. I had spent time as an entrepreneur, I had done well, I had spent time in the gig economy. That had its ups and downs. I had really seen the full cycle of a lot of working for yourself, and I realized that I wanted to get back into a full-time job, but that was becoming, more and more grim the longer that I spent outside of the job market. So I really took advantage of that tight market to get into the job, and I urged a lot of you guys to do so as well. Maybe some of you did, maybe some of you are now just doing the gig economy as a side thing and, supplementing full-time income where that's a little more stable. You'll get unemployment, things like that. For those of you that aren't, you can just do as much as possible if you do have any money left over at the end of the day to put some money aside, put it in a high interest, high yield savings account, treasury bills, something that's generating income, and hopefully be able to hang in there long enough until things get better, because things always do get better. But I don't expect to see any sort of large sweeping gig economy unemployment programs like we saw during COVID, and mainly because stuff like that is very inflationary when it's not done correctly. When everyone in the gig economy, or everyone that's unemployed, even those that didn't come out of full-time work experiences, are given unemployment. It really just creates opportunity for people to take advantage of the system. You get too much money flowing in, and then it's possible that inflation goes up. So I think we may have learned our lesson with that one, which is kind of unfortunate because it means that for those of you that might be struggling, it's a little bit harder to find a way to get out of that situation. So if you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. Let me know what your experience is currently delivering for one of these services, or driving, if it's gotten harder, if it's gotten more competitive. That's kind of what I've heard, but I know it's different in different markets, so I'd love to hear about that. Please leave your comment down below. We'll get the discussion going.